Hey everyone, Temporal here, and for this session we are going to be reviewing Tsuna of the Paris Eternal Overwatch League team. If you guys are enjoying my content, please do like and subscribe. That really helps me out. Or if you are looking to get coaching yourself, you can join my Discord in the description below, and through there you can see my rates, connect with other Overwatch people, participate in the Recruiter Friend special we've got going on till the end of the month, cool stuff like that. So it looks like Tsuna's a little late to get to his starting position here. Let's see where he sets on the steps here. Okay, so he's controlling the flank. Slow this down. If we look at our comps real quick, we see that he is effectively by himself as a flanker, and he's potentially going to have to be playing into Ball and Tracer. So it's possible that he's going to have to contest flanks against these guys and just lose slowly while his core wins against their core. That may be a thing. Like, he's not just going to lose, he's going to lose slowly so that they can win. It's possible that he'll have to do that, but we'll see what happens. Okay, so he's here. Probably want to slow this down. Now, half speed will be plenty. I expect we've got a Tracer fight here. So that opening position let him potentially have headshots on the Tracer if the Tracer wanted to come in to force this. It also means the Tracer can't blink behind him immediately. That's nice. Sent the Tracer down pretty low, but that Tracer does have a Harmony Orb. Is that Ball swinging through above him? That could be a problem if it is, but he got a pretty big lead there. He should be able to force the recall pretty easy. There's the recall, in fact. He chooses not to move really that significantly during the opposing Tracer's recall, which is a little surprising, but he should be up both in blinks and we know he has recall and this Tracer doesn't. And he tried to blink corner hit there. Understandable. I don't like that one. So for there, we get the recall. We get our reload. Those are wasted shots, but we'll live. That's the melee, which is perfectly understandable, even though it doesn't work out. That's another melee, which canceled our reload, which is unfortunate here. Melees aren't wrong in these Tracer duels. Now that neither of them have Harmony Orbs, melees are fine. Melees are permanent, fairly reliable damage, and Tracer is a very squishy hero, as you've noticed. So you're going to see lots of melees, those of you players who aren't used to high-level Tracer duels. That's fine. This, however, I don't like so much, because you see he blink melee'd here in a duel that he was already ahead in / winning, and it means he now immediately has to use another blink because he's at 0 ammo for this blink melee. So he went for his blink melee that he started with like 14 ammo going into this, and has to do another one. So I actually would have preferred that we say forget this one and just do the do a normal blink or close the angle while he does his reload, etc. This is kind of expensive, and that might not immediately make sense, so I'll go through here again. See this? This is fine. He's down to 14. Goes for the melee. Forces the recall. Much of this is just good, better initial positioning. And, it's not like the other guy had a choice. And yes, he has his Harmony Orb now. That's very nice. But, he started this. He got ahead while the opposing Tracer had the Harmony Orb. But now if we look at this, we do get our reload off here. We go for the melee. We're down to 30 ammo. We're down to 14 ammo for this melee, and this should have really just been a, hey, actually finish the reload. Not that melee there, like I can accept that melee, but now please actually finish this reload rather than push in here for the melee. Because now, yes, he also needs to blink now because he has the Discord on him. So yes, there's a Zen that's potentially going to be shooting at him. So maybe he'd have needed to do this anyways. But this feels like one extra blink that was forced upon him by the fact that he did this melee with 0 ammo here, immediately going to have to blink again because he needs to be blinking during his reload if the other Tracer is looking at him. And guess what? They are. Or they should be. Maybe they weren't, but hey, they should have been. Well, it's nice that ball was so low, and that ball certainly didn't come in to take the 2v1 to start things. So that ball went and did something else. That's fine. He's in here to clear the Discord. He couldn't have denied the health pack, but that worked out because the ball was so weak. I assume here he's just going to poke the Widow just to distract her a little bit and then close the angle. Totally fine to do chip damage from here. No, he wants to jump the Widow. I can live with that. Please don't. He's recalling for high ground here, which is correct. But if we look at this... Yeah, I know. You guys don't need to see the Tracer duel again. If you look at how this plays out... that's fine. I mean, that's... I don't love it. If memory served, she had the Harmony Orb on her, didn't she? Oh, no, I thought she did when she was up top. Guess she didn't. Or maybe it's just in a second that she gets the Harmony Orb that I'm remembering. So that is a Widow that still has 60 health, and we can see that that Widow has 60 health, and there's no ammo left in this clip. So dropping here for a melee, when of course the Widow's going to get the Harmony Orb here, and you're going to get discorded, like this was always going to happen. The melee here actually delays the reload, and one melee was never going to be enough to take her out. So I don't like this, and now I don't, in general, like melees into Harmony Orbed targets. It's not efficient, it delays your reload, etc. When you're talking Tracer versus Squishy that doesn't have healing coming in, absolutely, melees are great, melees make sense. We were just talking about that in Tracer duels. Not such a fan when there's a Harmony Orb in play. It starts to no longer be efficient. You're going to need to burst past it with real shots, and you're effectively delaying when your real shots can come here. And he knows that, and he's going to recall out as we see. I just don't think dropping in the first place made sense. I think you could have got, okay, I'm actually going to do my reload. I can keep this angle closed on the Zen and the Ana there, and from above, just like we were from above here, but this time from above, but from a little further away, I can drill shots into a very predictable Widow movement arc towards the health back there. And if she gets the health back, so be it. If she scopes up and aims at our Tracer, well, that's not going to happen, but she'll go down. And, you know, if she is getting enough healing, she gets hit by an Ana shot or whatever, fine, it's very easy for us to just, you know, one blink back and leave, etc. But I don't think this committal was right. I especially don't think it was right with the melee there. Zen throws the Discord. Okay, so you're trying to break line of sight, right? We're attacking the Harmony Orbed Widow from a range. No. If we want to take out this Widow, like if we do truly want to brute force this through the Widow, we did want to blink in for our damage here, because yes, the blink is going to alert her to our presence, but so is shooting at her going to alert her to our presence, and she's currently not looking at us. So if we really wanted to go for this without recall, I might add, but we're dropping, so we're committing to this, it should have been a blink in, so we'd be like over here, pretty much directly above her, and we'd be, you know, getting more headshot hitboxes, we'd be getting more headshots, and we'd be closer, so better damage for that reason too. So this is not right. Dodge into the Mega, fine. Trying to clear the Discord, not succeeding. Still has a Harmony Orb. Oh, this isn't fun. You're gonna have to go right. I'm surprised that you let that volley go off. With 3 blinks, I'm surprised that that volley was allowed to go off without a blink dodge happening. Okay, we're going here because it's really the only place to go. And then we're going to have to try and go past and immediately take out either the Zen or the Ana and just hope we trade, because there's still no recall and it's still 3 seconds away. And at this point, it wouldn't get us out of here. It would just... And now the nade hit, and you're just done. Yeah. I think that was 2 overcommittals, personally. The first one, hey, had recall 4, could recall to the high ground. That second one was just... No reason to do that. And if you were, there was a better way to do it.
Back to work.
So, Can we sneak up on the Zen through here and go get our elimination? Try to bring things back into this fight? That's going to be tough, but that's pretty much where it's got to start. Fine. There was a Widow. Don't care, that was the right thing to do. Eyes. Are we now going to see a control of this flank against the Tracer and Ball? Well, Tracer walked right through. Okay. Let me see our usage to get here. There's a blink past the choke just to not be seen there. Yeah, that's fine. To blink through the door, which I can live with. I don't think it's very likely at all that anyone was seriously looking this way, but hey. Maybe they were. And then we're going to blink here, but that leaves us with no blinks for this actual fight. We're very, I'm going to say cautious in our blink use, but what I mean by that is we were very, hey, I'm not breaking any angles without using blink, which means, you know, we're very cautious about damage, which I guess means really we were more aggressive about our blink use there, but that's okay. Nice. Now you have one blink and no recall, but you want that Zen. I can live with it. You can get out with your one blink if you have to. And you tried to go in for the melee, that's fine. He tried to go in for the melee, but he tried to go in. We can relook at it. I think there wasn't a real input difference between when he went in and when the nade came out. So that's fine. So the recall... Did we just use recall as a dodge? As opposed to... Yeah, you didn't really take damage there, so you used that recall as a dodge instead of using the blank. Okay. And let's slow this down just to see our order. So technically that nade does come in before the blink melee. Blink melee would have worked if the nade hadn't come in, but that's fine. Those are mighty tight reactions, and right at this moment we have the benefit of watching at quarter speed. Pass into the iris. It's fine. Good. That's fine. You're blinking past to get the different angle. You're shooting at the discorded target. I'm a little worried about what's behind him coming through the doorway that can only see him to shoot at. Apparently nothing. Apparently Zen. Okay, fine. We just saw Zen throw out a right click. I don't really like this, but it's not terrible. The reason I don't like this is this was our last blink to take this position. Now, it's a little okay because we saw that the Zen just threw out a right click, which means we know that the Zen is locked animation-wise out of doing anything meaningful for, you know, half a second or whatever. He can't throw any left clicks at us. So this blink, even though it means we don't have a blink to get out, we do have recall to get out if we absolutely have to. And this fight is in potentially cleanup phase because the team has already got a 6v4 situation going on here. So the fight's in cleanup phase. Yes, we used our last blink to put ourselves in a 1v3 situation from the direction that these guys were already looking. Those are both things that I don't like, but we do have recall. And it is a cleanup situation. If we go down, it's not the end of the world. I think it's wrong, but it's not terrible. Like, this is I'm trying to brute force my opponent. It's not necessarily a great play. I would have preferred this routing the whole time. And we're using our last blink to go in again here. This time we at least know the Zen's a little softened up, and the same thing we said before about the recall still applies. This isn't really better though. We do get it, and we do pop our recall. Okay. Okay, now we've got nothing, and we're doing this. Again, they're staggered, so there's still that going on our side, but we're using our last blink to go in. No recall. Is our team committing with us hard at least? Yeah, at least our team's committing with us, though I'd argue we were still probably close to first in here. Okay. $100% deserved. 100% deserved to go down there. It's not going to matter because he did also take out the Ana, which means they've effectively staggered each other, and he's got the closer spawn. Plus, he's got the Mercy Res, which didn't need to be used here, but... We're trying to aggressively take flank control against a team that we know is still rotating back because we got the later eliminations. It's not terrible. I hope he waits for his engage until he either sees a true opening. Oh, he might just pulse bomb cancel it. Yeah, okay, you can pulse bomb cancel a team fight if you want. I just wouldn't expect to be able to keep this flank. I'm a little surprised, honestly, that the ball is over here and not paying any attention. He can see this, though, because he has eyes going on for... I thought he has eyes going on. Why is that filled in for us? What is giving us vision? Oh, Sonic Arrow. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong team here. Sonic Arrow is giving us vision. Okay, so he knows that the ball's over there. That's good news. I'm a little surprised that the ball isn't, checking a little more on the flanks. The ball's sort of been playing main with the team as opposed to on the flanks with his own tracer. But, hey, that's what's going on. And if we're going to play around that, we're going to play around that. So anyways, I hope he either pulse bomb cancels this with a good opening or that he goes in to actually work on this back line when the front line is actually engaged with his team. No, this is wrong. Okay, rather than just say this is wrong, let's explain it a bit. Okay. Zen's not looking at us. McCree's not looking at us. We want to be creeping our way up here. That's what we want to be doing. We don't want to just rush this. Even though Zen's the only thing we can see, we can't see Deanna. We don't want to just rush this because if Zen sees us coming from this far away, Zen is just fine. Plus, even though we can't see Deanna, we know stuff is probably coming back from spawn there. So this to me looks like, well, let's see the order, but I'm pretty sure I saw it the first time. Yeah, that Zen sees us when we're blinking in, etc. We needed to get closer before we considered blinking, and if the Zen saw us before we could get closer without blinking, we should have just used one blink to get out and then been like, nope, I'm out, etc. Now we're using 2 blinks to go in to try to force an elimination into what we can now tell is a 1v2, which will quickly change, but we don't know that yet. We're doing this into a 1v2. We've used 2 blinks to enter it. And we knew from the moment we used the first blink, or even just an instant before, that they knew we were here. So that's 2 blinks to enter a fight. That's a 1v2. No, I don't like it. And it's not while our team is like hard fighting this team. This team is still rotating. Our team isn't like actively brawling. Our team hasn't like committed to super aggressive angles to mean it's on, etc., etc. This is 1v2 that if we don't just like pulse bomb something and immediately get out is going to mean we're exhausted out of cooldowns and have to stay out of the fight while our team gets pushed. I don't like this. Missed some shots, that's fine. I don't care about the aim. I care about whether he's doing the right thing. And now we've used the recall. Yeah. And now we're trying to leave. Okay. So again, we just used all of our blinks in recall and got nothing. And we'll get 2 blinks back before the right fight really happens, but the other tracer knows that we're exhausted a bit on resources and may take some flank space as a result of that. We should get 2 blinks back before the core is really able to push, because the core won't push without their backline, but I didn't love that exchange. Did we not hear the tracer? I'll slow it down for you guys. Discord clears. We check that. You hear the blink. You hear 2 footsteps. You see the shots behind you, and then you blink. You go opt for a direct forward blink, which isn't generally a great blink. A straightforward blink just takes you further away from the target that's shooting at you. It's okay against Tracer, but it's not okay. It's not that okay in Tracer v Tracer, because yes, you're making her do less damage as you get away from her, but she doesn't really have to move her crosshair to stay on you to keep doing damage. I think he's doing this though. Let's see. So we can press X. That Hey Doc was his version of, or Tracer's version of calling for healing, I guess. And it's because his Zen is probably over here. And he wants his Zen to peek him, and he wants to fight from here. Yeah, that's right. That is right. He'll get the Harmony Orb, and then he'll be able to fight his way back in with Harmony Orb.
I could use some healing.
Yeah, there's another X. 2 more X's. And now he's willing to fight this. I want to re-see. Oh, rewinds are so long. One blink.
I could use some healing.
It's the reload. I don't like that he keeps that angle open during the reload. Like, there's very little reason to. Is that the exact distance? Unless that's the exact distance for applying Harmony Orb.
I could use some healing.
Should have drifted this way to keep the angle closed. There's no threats over here. Should have drifted this way to keep the angle closed while reloading instead of drifting into the open. Got the Harmony Orb. Are you going to blink because you're taking damage? Okay, you blinked for the corner. That's another corner blink that we haven't hit a melee off of. We might have to examine those separately.
Almost ready.
And by that, I just mean sort of the evolving meta of when are they worth doing, et cetera, because, you know, the opposing tracers know that they're worth doing, and therefore they're a step back from the corner. Anyways, things evolve. Okay. That's a blink through the ball so that you don't take fireball damage. And you're going to move again, right, Shirley? Yeah, okay. That's the one person you didn't want to pulse bomb. You saw projected barrier come out on the ball, which means anyone else is an acceptable pulse bomb. You don't know if she has personal or not. Pulse bomb for bubble is not worth it. You didn't know if she had bubble or not, though it's possible that this will now work. Maybe there was a call that we're going to dragon strike them, and you were thinking, hey, I'll do it even if I get her, because the dragon strike will then do more meaningful damage to her because she won't be able to bubble it. That's possible. That's certainly a generous interpretation. It's more likely than not that that's not what happened, and instead it was just a, well, you're here, I'll throw it in case you don't have it, which not right, but that's, you know, what we're going to deal with. It's a lot of damage you're taking. You have to blink, and you're surrounded, so you're just going to move left, right? Did you not blink?
Ever get that feeling of deja vu?
You got 2 blinks. You did blink. Okay, you did blink. You did a front left blink there, and you didn't fall off from it. That's a blink for the ball. Good. And this should just be pressure the ball out. Good. We're blinking out here. Blinking out here leaves us with 1 blink and no recall. And 3 seconds on recall means our recall is going to keep us out here when it does come up, as opposed to put us back in the safe area. We are up 2. If our team is pushing, I can live with this.
Double kill.
We're dropping. We're dropping to clear Discord. We're up 3. Okay. We're not recalling out of it?
Activating the barrier.
Was that recall intentionally delayed because this was the positioning he wanted? I think this is less health than he has than if he recalled earlier. Let's rewatch this a bit. Okay. So 357.
Double kill.
357. So at 358, we take damage down to 94. If we recall now, that puts us at 357, which puts us back at full health. I probably like that more. It does put us like right here-ish, though. Are we willing to be right here? This isn't terrible position-wise. I'm willing to be right here. Yeah. I think I prefer that.
Activating the barrier.
This gives us less health, but puts us right next to the discorded Anna, which maybe we're going to turn in one clip. I can live with that. That's not unreasonable.
Let's try that again.
Well, if the tracking had decided to be a little better.
Double
Mm-hmm.
I'm on fire.
triple kill.
Right beside.
Okay, let's well, you're done, but let's rewatch that.
Double triple kill.
We just wiped them. We're pushing into their territory. We don't have Pulse Bomb to go for a cheeky limb like that this time. We see the Tracer, and we start shooting here. And we've already committed to dropping. So, like, we're definitely going to blink. I'm surprised that we're not, like, yes, we can shoot, and blinking will alert the Tracer to our presence, and Tracer will potentially move, but shooting her is going to do the same thing. And you were going to have to use this blink no matter what. In my mind, you wanted to blink and then start shooting so that you're closer, so that you get a little more damage out of this. Yes, she's still going to blink very early, either way, but I think you are going to get a little bit more damage consistently if you're blinking first here rather than poking first from this distance. And the decision to take this in the first place is a silly fight because you don't expect to be able to just muscle your opposing Tracer down so quickly. Like, I don't think there was any reason to push up here in the first place. Let the opposing team, get out of spawn first, etc. There's too many of Red Tracer's friends that are going to be able to back them up if this fight drags on at all. And if you didn't open with like a, one clip on them immediately force recall type thing, this was going to take too long.
Now, where were we?
Yeah. That might have just been Tsuna trying to practice Tracer duels, trying to, I don't know, go, hey, I want to work on something specific, trying to see exactly how much can I get away with in terms of abusing the opponent, etc., because that wasn't good decision making to go up there. And in my mind, that's the second time we've seen that, which makes me think, is this a case of seeing, let's see exactly how much I can get away with, which is different than playing the best that you can, with the maximum potential to win. Okay, we're going to see a pulse bomb, I assume. Miss, but still get the trans. Why did we blink there? fine. You're chipping down ball pretty hard. You go back here. Let's slow this down now.
Here you go.
That's fine. I don't mind that he missed. That McCree is not looking at you. That McCree is still not looking at you. And we blinked. Why did we blink? The McCree wasn't looking at us. There's no way those supports are turning around to come get you. That's a weird blink. So for those of you that don't know, you blink to stop someone from locking on you, from being able to aim at you, but you don't do it before they start to aim at you. You do it as they start to aim at you, as they start to line up the shot, etc. You don't go, oh, I'm afraid someone's going to be looking at me, so I'm going to blink. You actually see that the person is moving their character in such a way that they're looking at you, that they're taking aim at you, and you dodge that. You can't, against someone like McCree, reactively blink when you start taking damage because he does too much of it per hit. So you blink to dodge him aiming at you, etc. But you know, the longer you can hold off on that, the more of his time you can effectively waste. The longer you can be in the fight, the more you can do effectively in terms of you staying in the fight, chipping him down, etc. So this feels like an early blink to me because McCree definitely wasn't looking at Tsuna yet here. Oh, sorry guys. My pause hotkey. My pause hotkey brings that up if I don't hit both buttons for it. So yeah, I don't like that first blink. This I'm okay with. McCree's still not looking at us. Still not. Started to look down there. Concerned about a flash. Totally fine with that blink. Now has a Harmony Orb. That's annoying. Yeah, I don't think that's right. And when I say I don't think that's right, I really mean that's not right. So we'll go here. So Kai now has a Harmony Orb. We have 38 shots in our clip. If we don't finish him with this, and we don't have him at a point where literally the melee will finish him, melee does, 30 damage in half a second. I mean, it takes half a second to do, and it has another half-second cooldown. So you can do a melee once a second, it does 30 damage, and it takes half a second. I don't think you want to be pummeling melees into someone that has a Harmony Orb. I think you have to get ahead, go, no, I need to actually get my reloads off, because if you melee and you cancel any of your reload animation, you're delaying your reload, and you're falling further behind. If you don't cancel your reload. No, you're going to be canceling your reload. You're going to be delaying your reload, canceling your reload. I just don't think it's worth unless it's the final blow against someone that has a Harmony Orb. We'll slow it down. Start your reload, and now blink. Yeah, but I know why you're meleeing. You're right in melee range, etc. I just don't think this was the right blink. Yeah, I mean, this McCree has 90 health. A melee doesn't do squat for you. You melee. Then you recall, so it's going to break my timer, so I can't actually count what happened. Now you've recalled, and they get nanoed, so we don't see if it works. But I don't think that's right. I'll think that through harder, but I don't think that it's right to be meleeing someone unless it's the finishing blow that's Harmony.
Ain't no stopping me. It's Harmony.
On the Zen, fine. Close it to reload.
Reporting for duty.
Okay, we can speed it back up.
That'll learn you.
You are down by a player, so you're taking a risk to go get the Zen. Works for me. No issue with that melee. None whatsoever. You have recall. You use your last blink to go there. You choose to ignore the Tracer and to get on the Kree. You can certainly deal with the Kree faster than you can deal with the Tracer. It's a little risky. but anything's a little risky and you're behind, so sure.
Just in time.
You'd already taken damage, so you wanted to go challenge the McCree because you were going to let the Tracer just beat on you, and then you were going to recall when it would put you back to full health, so before you took damage. Okay, sure. That does make more sense. It's more permanent damage that you're putting on the Tracer, because if you duel the Tracer, you're just going to get his recall, and you want the more permanent damage on the McCree, since you've already removed both of their supports. Yeah, or you've removed, yeah, both of their supports. That's the right play.
Experience tranquility.
Mm-hmm. Don't love this target choice, though. So if we look back here, McCree, great. Good target selection. We just went over why. You were shooting at the Tracer. You swapped to the ball. I don't like swapping to the ball because the ball is the least dangerous of the heroes on the point and the hardest to remove from the point. So you want to deal with it last in this type of scenario. And the Discord was on the Sigma, but you swapped to the Sigma as soon as that's reasonable. I would now like you to get back on Tracer rather than ball, but now that the ball's purple, it's fine to be on the ball. And now you are going to make Ball hate his life. Well, oh, he missed. Bye, Ball! Bye-bye!
I'm on fire.
And the other Tracer is left. Okay. Oh, the other Tracer wants to force it? The other Tracer is doing his impression of you. Interesting.
Much better.
Roadhog time.
This is better. You can actually chill up here, get good information, react at the right time. That is not chilling up here, reacting at the right time. At least let the Tracer get a little further along so that his friends are further away, he gets less help. Like, that's okay.
Present.
I need healing.
So if this is real, decision-making from Tsuna, Tsuna has a decision-making issue surrounding when he goes up flanks and starts taking flank space from the opponent aggressively. When he uses that flank space. Like, if you run into the other Tracer when you're battling for it, that's one thing, but he's aggressively battling for it in their space when it's not useful. What I mean by when it's not useful is when most of the enemy team is back here. If it's when the team is up here and you're going, yeah, okay, that's fine. Or if you're going, hey, I'm fighting you specifically to not let you, opposing Tracer, stage on my team's flank, that's fine with me too. Like, oh, hey, no, I'm going to fight, I'm going to keep you out, maybe I'm going to fight over here to keep you out, I can live with that. I'm not liking the going in over here stuff that this is basically his third time doing, because that takes us into a situation of it's not buying meaningful time. His team is not committed, set up, widespread with devastating angles on the opposing team. His team is not doing anything of particularly high value when he's going for these. He's going for these deep in opposing space that the opponent, like, it literally is opponent space that they control. They have more friends that can help them, etc. He has to heavily outplay them, outmechanic them, etc. for it to work, especially when he doesn't have Pulse Bomb. And sometimes he's pulling that off because, yes, he is better than the players on the other team. So yeah, sometimes he is pulling that off. And so my suspicion is he's doing that just to make himself better at it, to see what he can get away with, etc. But if this is a real habit and that's not being done intentionally as a let me push my limits, let me see what I can do, it's poor decision making. Like, I would not expect him to play like this in an official. If he does, it's something that needs to be worked on. I don't think it's real. I don't think this is what we'd see in an official. I think more likely in an official match, we potentially have an issue with some melees onto harmony targets that don't make sense, some corner melees that we have to think about whether those really make sense in the future, and a couple questionable blinks. Those are places I'd be looking. None of those are nearly as major or red flag as what we've seen here, though.
You're going to be okay.
Okay. That was an interesting blink. I'm not sure why we backed away from the ball there.
I need healing.
He did the right thing last time he ran into a ball. Why did he do the wrong thing this time? Is it because he's worried the team is coming through? So he doesn't want to blink forward because he's worried if he blinks through the ball, which is what he did last time, that he'll immediately get shot by this team. That's not actually going to happen. And I think he sort of knows that's not actually going to happen, or should, based on when he peaked here last. But it's minor. It's a minor gripe. Would have been better even though with like a blink into this wall, etc. Like a blink to intentionally get stuck on this, etc. and then shoot it. I know there's still the concern of them, or a blink into this wall, which you couldn't do because there is actually a concern here. This backwards blink here means he's going to have to use a second blink or take damage, so I'm not really liking it. I think the right blink was this one to here, personally.
I need healing.
There's his Harmony Orb. He can win this chip battle if he's got the Harmony. He hears the footsteps, so he's going around. No, he's not going around. He's going to use his Pulse, and he's going to do it on their backline. Why are we alerting them to our presence early? I guess they know you're here. That just doesn't seem like meaningful chip. It seems like you're reminding them to pay attention, but were you trying to get out Flash? Did you expect to bait Flash with that? I'm surprised that Flash came out for that, to be quite honest. Like, that worked out okay, but I'm surprised Flash came out for that. I think that was probably yeah. Just cleaning up the ball that separated, fine. Tracer hunts balls. Unless Ball has his own Tracer with him, they need to be playing together more, the opposing Ball and Tracer.
I think it's time for us to see other people.
They're actually giving Tsuna a bit too easy of a time by being split as much as they are. This is fine. If he's just holding this flank, I'm totally good with it. Again, red team isn't really pushing right now. Okay, are you going to hit a pulse bomb? Or are you going to get as close as you can and then single blink one clip him?
60 seconds.
Yes, you are. Okay.
No one can hide from my sight.
Your Widow pops eyes, that's probably for you, because she doesn't really need to pop eyes right now because you guys are up one, which means that in her mind, unless you get caught, they're not going to push for the duration of her ult. So this is almost certainly for you.
Healing enough.
Okay, has the you see the Harmony Orb there. You blink, and then you recall. So that's just a little slow decision making to use both, which is fine. I mean, it's small windows that we're talking about here, and just Tracer is a very fast moving character. You guys notice we've been watching a lot of this at half speed so that it's followable, comment-onable, etc. And I'm still using pauses because commenting even at half speed wouldn't work. So that, little bit of an overcommittal there to use the blink and then recall. It's the, hey, you saw the Harmony Orb, which means you didn't need to blink in the first place, which means you didn't need to recall. But hey.
Ever get that feeling of deja vu?
Can we get out now? Okay, we have a blink still. We should be able to get out. Okay. And we got the Harmony. Good.
30 seconds remaining.
Back to a Tracer duel of sorts. We get our Harmony.
My barrier is destroyed.
We're pushing in. Our Harmony will cap us, but it won't stay on us for more than 3 seconds after we break line of sight. Other Tracer really starts lining up their shot first. Other Tracer starts missing their shot first. They pull the trigger first. Reasonable blink. Problem is, all we have right now is recall, tracer
30
blanks,
seconds remaining.
blink reload. Okay. Kind of stuck with that one.
Let's try that again.
And you are empty. No, you just got to blink back.
Let's finish this.
And you blink to there. That's as reasonable as anywhere you could blink to. You sort of need to back out again, though. Your next blink needs to get you out of here.
Oh, I need healing.
Which is exactly what's going to happen. So this is kind of what I was referring to at the beginning of the match that I expected, which is, hey, I want Tsuna to sort of lose slowly to these two. Tsuna was mostly alone, yes, with a little Harmony Orb support, but mostly alone, tying up these two, which leads to a scenario of, okay, that means my core has more people than your core, and my core should more often than not win that. Now that's not perfect on ladder where, every player isn't as skilled as every other player and, you can be like, oh, I tied up 2 and my team still lost, etc. But that's theoretically the correct thing, etc. And that was a pretty long, yes, we were watching it at half speed, but that was a reasonably long tie-up, we'll effectively call it. And in the end, the ball bailed, and Suna's not going to stand the ball. But the ball bailed and is in worse shape than Tsuna is here. Nice.
Now, where were we?
Should be an easy finish. Can't. Yep, that's fine.
10 seconds remaining.
I don't think, is he going to get greedy and go back for this?
I could
No,
use
he's
some
going to drop
healing.
for the healing. Okay.
Loose.
I could use some healing and you get a nano. Okay, what are we doing with our nano? There isn't really anything on point. Those are your tanks. The McCree's up there. Nice. Yeah, okay. Cute little tracer tech. That's kind of a highlight moment right there. I need healing, get a nano. Let's hop up using the tracer tech up to here to eliminate an ulting McCree. That's pretty nice.
Oh, that's good. Do it again.
It's gone. And not interested in the shield, wants the hero, and now it's just clean up on Tracer. I don't think that minefield's gonna save you, buddy. I'm not gonna rewatch it. I'm just disappointed we're not getting a little more melee value. Good.
Initiate. Ready for battle. Ready for battle.
Hi.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
Okay, so Tsuna didn't go in early, but it would have been interesting to see what Tsuna would have done. Instead, waited for the tank line, and in that time we get 2 big offs. Okay, so first is gone.
I'm on the objective.
There's not going to be anything interesting. We're taking a 6v4. I did like that the angle that time was closed during the reload. I'm not sure why we didn't get that back on second point in the Tracer duel. I think it was a Tracer duel. Maybe it was Tracer first ball. I think it was a Tracer duel.
Double kill.
Let's try that again.
Just like old times.
We still need you.
I'm set. I don't think you understand the gravity of this.
Objective A.
Okay,
captured.
we've got a couple minutes
New
left.
Defense point. Objective B.
That could be interesting enough to be worth it.
Just like old times.
We still need you.
I don't think you understand the gravity of this.
Objective A captured. New defense point.
This is potentially taking the flank a little early, and the reason I say this is potentially taking the flank a little early is, hey, we know the team is going to take a while to get up to either here or here, which would be better. And like we saw on the other side, when Tsuna was defending, Tsuna could regularly visit out here to get Harmony Orb support, to refresh Harmony Orb, to do that sort of thing, etc. And now Tsuna can't do that. It's harder to get the Harmony Orb as the attacking Tracer on this point, right? So you're in a, oh shoot, that's a little more difficult. So you don't really want to be here early. If you had to battle them back over here, sure. But if you're going to commit over here, you're potentially going to get forced out and end up in a situation where you don't have your, what am I saying? Where you're not ready to go, you're missing health, you're missing blinks, you're missing recall, etc. when your team is ready to push. So I don't particularly love this. Good. Was that to break sight and to damage? I think it was. Okay, the Tracer's slow to line up the shot, and as she starts to... So that's what I'm talking about in terms of a good blink. You can see at that point Tracer is lining up the shot, Tracer's close to lining up the shot, and that's when Tsuna pulls the trigger and hits the blink, and goes for the melee, which, that's good. Has 20 shots left, does that, chooses to break cover for the reload. Unfortunately, the other Tracer will have gotten the Mega here, but Tsuna gets high ground, so that's got some value. Why would you force this? You don't need to force this. Your team almost certainly is still not ready. Yeah, your Zen's back there. Okay. And I say that because there's not a ball on the other team now. If there was still the ball, he'd potentially have to force it because otherwise ball's going to show up in a matter of, a second, etc. This is him brute forcing it, which, he might get away with. Oh, or he might not.
I could use some healing.
Okay, so he's going for the mini.
Back in the fight.
And this is exactly what I'm talking about. As his team shows up, he doesn't have blinks, he doesn't have health, etc. Triple blinking in. We're going to get one back in time. Blink out as the Briggs is walking forward, fine. Wait for the 5 orb sound effect to go off with cover. Yeah, that's mostly timing. I mean, in theory, he could have, screamed at his team to push, 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 and they would have gotten some value out of that, but that happened.
My barrier is destroyed. Barrier is treacherous. My barrier is destroyed.
It's not a great engagement route for Tracer. I mean, sometimes you do it because, hey, it is how you get behind people, it's how you flank. Fighting in the hallway like that just kind of sucks.
Well, that just happened.
But again, the real issue is how that engagement started, which was Tsuna was in early, trying to battle for flank control more aggressively than was appropriate.
This is not the end.
Pass into the iris.
Heroes never die.
And I say more aggressively than is appropriate. That might not make sense to some of you, because some of you might be going, but what if Tsuna had won? Because it takes some time to win, and therefore you want to win when your team shows up, and then you can support your team and have the 6v5. Yeah, that is what can happen, but again, there's the Harmony Orb support that the other Tracer is going to get from here. Like, that's what you're looking at. You don't actually expect to full-on eliminate them most of the time. You expect to get a situation where they back out, but it cost you a bunch of resources. It cost them a bunch of resources too, but if you weren't the one to get the Mega, they get the Harmony Orb, all that jazz. Guess we'll slow it down. And we're just outing? Okay. Oh, hi.
Anna checking in.
Behind you.
Personne n'échappe à mon regard. Much better. In time.
Okay, a lot of going in circles. Now we can be real.
Time's up.
A little slow on the 180 there. I know we're running at half speed, but
Ever get that feeling of deja vu?
leave, clear the Discord, clear the Discord. Good. That has a harmony. We don't fight that. Good. Oh, beautiful. He had the faster acquire, target acquire than the tracer that blinked.
Now, we're working the fun.
Sing for me!
Fine. You don't have any tools to play with though. And there you get the harmony.
My shots find their mark.
You're gonna have to blink, yep. And that's over. No venom mine a second time? Fair.
Experience tranquility.
Victory.
The melee thing into Harmony Orb situation doesn't apply when you have multiple teammates shooting at it. Okay, so good stuff. That was interesting to see. Let's rewind to just a more interesting end screen here. More interesting end screen? Not really, but we tried. Okay, so good stuff. If this is a serious game, like, try-harding, really wanting to do everything that you can to win, the major criticism would be there's some really weird flank timing stuff going on where, hey, trying to force fights in the opponent's territory when the opponent has control and when the opponent's attention is not at all forward, both directions. So that would be the critique if this was a real try-hard trying to win game. My suspicion is that this is probably a case of Tsuna's just trying to push his limits, go, hey, I want to push my limits. I want to see exactly how much I can get away with against these opponents. I want to just sort of get the most practice that I can at doing this stuff, even if I'm doing some stuff that I shouldn't be doing, etc., etc. So if we remove that from the equation, the more minor stuff that we get into that would be, hey, potential improvement here is I don't like some of those melees into Harmony Orbs. I've talked about that enough. There's maybe 5 or 6 blinks that I looked at and went, hey, I'm really not a fan of those as well. So overall, good stuff. Good stuff. That's what we have. This is what a professional level tracer looks like on ladder for those of you that were curious, and for those of you that are curious what a coach reviewing one of these looks like. Yeah. So if you guys are enjoying the content, please do feel free to like and subscribe. Or if you are looking to get coaching yourself, you can join my Discord in the description below. And through that, you can see what my rates look like. You can see when I'm streaming. You can, join the community, meme, do whatever you guys want to do there. Anyway, thanks guys. Temporal out.